Howdy folks, and welcome back to World of Tanks with the mighty Jingles, and I do have something of a confession to make. I have been up all night playing Subnautica. It's now 2:30 in the morning and I still haven't done today's video. So today's World of Tanks video is something of an emergency video. It's fair to say I threw it together at fairly short notice, but it's good, trust me. Would your Uncle Jingles lie to you? You are going to be entertained, I can promise you that much. This is Monty CZ. Quite an unusual name for somebody from the Czech Republic. It sounds very British, so I'm certainly not going to hold that against him. He's not actually going to go very far in his Churchill Black Prince here on the Paris map. But he's not really going to need to go very far at all in order to get into all kinds of trouble in this Tier 9 battle. Yes, Tier 9. Random battle. The enemy team have, an AMX 1390, an M103, and a Leopard prototype. And we're going to be seeing more of the Leopard prototype before very long as well. But while Monty's sitting here fruitlessly trying to land a shot on the Batchat 12T and AMX 1390, he takes his first hit of the day from the enemy artillery, the Geschutzwagen Panther, and loses 20% of his health, practically before the game's even started. So, not a great start, but don't worry, things are going to get much better, and much funnier. So, a couple of things you should probably be aware of, just in case you aren't already, about the Churchill Black Prince before things start heating up around here. As you can see, it's not particularly quick, although it's more agile than most of the other Churchill series of tanks, thanks to its pretty good terrain resistance on its tracks. The gun is difficult to love. It only has 171mm of penetration, and it only does 150 damage per shot. The rate of fire is pretty good, but it's still only 150 damage per shot. To put that into perspective, if two Churchill Black Princes come across each other and one of them's AFK, the one who is not AFK would still have to fire continuously for just over a minute, assuming all of his shots hit and penetrate, in order to kill the other. So, yeah, you're unlikely to ever come across anybody saying that the best thing they like about the Churchill Black Prince is the 17-pounder gun. But what people do like about the Churchill Black Prince is the armour. The armour on this tank is pretty good, particularly if you're top tier and you're fighting tier 7 or lower tanks. But those are not tier 7 or lower tanks. Well, some of them are, but some of them very definitely aren't. That's a Leopard prototype down there, joined by a Tiger II, an AMX M445, an M4A1 Ravioli. There's a Tiger P down there as well. It's difficult to really state with any certainty just how many tanks he's outnumbered by here, because it depends whether or not you also include all of the enemy tanks right down at the far end of the road behind this lot. He could be outnumbered 7 or 8 to 1 here. Of course, if they all rush him, it doesn't really matter what the rate of fire in his 17-pounder gun is. He's going to be dead in 15 seconds. They're all faster than he is, and there's like 5 of them down there. It would take them 15 seconds to get here and pump shots through his paper-thin side armour. Because right now they're all playing to the Black Prince's strengths. He's side-scraping and only showing the front of his turret. So naturally the Tiger II and the Tiger P, because thinking is hard, just press the 2 key and start firing skill right through the front of his turret. To be fair, not all of the enemy tanks down there are busy licking the nearest available windows. The M4A1 Ravioli has been firing high explosive once he realised that the armour piercing wasn't cutting it, and right now he's realised we just need to rush this guy. Come on team, who's with me? Team? Hello? Nope. Yeah, if you'd done that 2 minutes ago, Monty would be dead, and all of those enemy tanks would be halfway to Monty's cap circle by now. But Monty, in a bottom tier tank alone, kept a third or more of the enemy team stalled on that corner for so long that they got picked off by artillery, they're getting hit by crossfire from the side streets, and Monty's about to receive reinforcements to the rear in the shape of an AMX M445. And Monty he's trolling this Tiger P into trying to continue to waste gold ammo on his tracks. And what he's waiting for is for that guy to start firing high explosive, because now we can expose his turret front without any fear of that guy firing skill right through it and actually get some damage done to the Tiger P. But one more of those high explosive shots and he's dead. Luckily, the AMX M445 finally turns up and puts the Tiger P down. Monty was doing absolutely everything right there. He was side-scraping around the corner, covering up his relatively weak frontal hull armour and only exposing the heavily angled tracks, which you're never going to do any damage to, and his turret front every time he fired. And while it is insanely frustrating when you're in a heavily armoured tank and you're doing everything right and the enemy just load the skill and fire right through the front of your turret, on balance it's actually quite lucky for Monty that they did, because if they hadn't and had instead rushed him, he'd have been dead 2 minutes ago. But we're not done yet. That T10 just took a hit in the side from an ISU-152. Now the fact that the T10 survived a hit in the side from the ISU-152 means he must be using the 152mm howitzer and firing high explosive. But Monty only has 9 health left, and a 152mm howitzer shell doesn't even have to hit him to kill him. Now I don't really have a very good explanation for what you're about to see happen next. Well, actually I have several. They may all be true. The ISU has a damaged ammo rack, or an injured loader, or possibly he's got a Black Prince and a T10 charging him. He can only kill one, and he can't make his mind up. Think quick, ISU. Quicker than that. The T10 rams him, tracks him, spins him. Now his gun isn't pointing at either of them, and between the two of them, they kill the ISU. Lovely little bit of teamwork there between Monty and the T10, who were both staring death in the face, and I have no real explanation for how they can possibly have both survived that. And that's pretty much it for this match, just artillery left to kill. And Monty and the T10, realising that they're pretty much out of the rest of this game, stop to thank each other for taking care of the ISU like that. And it's nice to see a little bit of civility in chat between teammates. It's a nice break from the usual level of toxicity that you see in chat in World of Tanks. Of course, then the Scorpion G opens his big mouth and ruins it all. But it wouldn't be a game of World of Tanks if somebody wasn't whining in chat. So, Monty CZ in the Tier 7 Churchill Black Prince in a Tier 9 battle on the Paris map. Ace tanker, third on the team in damage done, top of the team in experience earned, with 2,400 damage done, 4,050 damage blocked, and just short of 2,000 spotting and assistance damage. None of which would have been possible if anybody on the enemy team other than the M4 Ravioli had realised that there's a better way of dealing with a lone Churchill 100 metres away from you than simply sitting glued to the opposite corner and pressing the 2 key. And because an 8-minute video is a bit short even for an emergency video, here's another quick battle. This time, well, it's kind of the same, but it's kind of different. This is Tripod Gaming in the IS. It's kind of different because he's top tier, but it's kind of the same because much like Monty CZ and the Churchill Black Prince in the previous battle, he's pretty much going to be on his lonesome for most of this game. Why is that then, Jingles? Is it because he stinks of piss and he's got no friends, or is it because the rest of his team wouldn't have enough chromosomes between them to intellectually challenge a potato? Well, watch and judge. Of course, he's not completely alone on the western flank. There is a KV-1S who's rushed ahead of him. He's going to be joined by a T-67, but the T-67 isn't going to do an awful lot that's useful. Slightly later on, Johnny-come-lately in an AMX-12T is going to turn up, but he's not going to have a huge contribution to the outcome of this battle either. It's all pretty much going to be about Tripod Gaming and the IS. We're going to skip forward a few seconds to when the fun begins, and it really is going to be a target-rich environment. There are at least 7 enemy tanks around this corner. That's almost half of the enemy team. So many tanks that Tripod Gaming just has to stick the gun around the corner, pull the trigger with his eyes shut, and he's probably going to hit something. Now, in this kind of situation, you obviously want to be reducing the number of guns firing back at you, so you shoot at what you can kill quickly. Now, the friendly KV-1S at the end of the road around the corner to the right is being rushed by the IS and the Skoda T40, and he's about to go down very, very quickly. There is actually a T-67 up here. You can just see his shadow. There he is. He's not actually shooting at anything, and the dead KV-1S is about to start pinging the map and trying to warn this guy that he's about to get a dose of surprise butt sex from an IS and a Skoda T40, but he's not paying any attention, of course. Meanwhile, Tripod continues to reduce the number of guns firing back at him, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be going for that pesky M4, because that's quite enough gold from you, Sonny Jim. Where do you think you're going, Sunshine? Nowhere. Yes, I thought so. Now it's just the Churchill. The T67 is dead, which means that the Skoda T40 and the IS are on their way. And there is a nice little bit of support there from artillery, which blows the tracks right off the Churchill. And the Churchill knows there's no way he's going to survive this, so he just pretty much gives up trying. Now it's at this point where it becomes clear that Tripod wasn't really paying attention to the map, and with all that he had to deal with, it's not really surprising. He sees the T40, realises he's fired, is not going to get a shoot, and thinks, okay, oh crap, here comes the IS. And so takes one in the side. If he had known that the IS was up there with him, he would more likely have taken cover behind the wreck of the dead Churchill 1. Either way, now he has to make the most of a bad situation. He's going to do the best he can. But there are two enemy tanks, either of which can kill him with one shot. Of course, thanks to the enemy IS coming around the corner sideways on, he can now kill both of them with one shot as well. So it's a question of which of them are prepared to put their man pants on and take their brave pills. Well, for the moment, neither of them. Tripod and the opposing IS simply settle down for a game of peekaboo, both trying to snipe at each other's weak spots without really giving anything up. And that, of course, is because the Skoda has gone running off to the south, but he's about to run into the rest of Tripod's team coming the other way, and is going to rethink that hasty decision and come back to back up this IS. And Tripod knows it's happening when this IS suddenly decides to go for it. And the only reason he would do that is because the T40 has arrived and they are both going to rush him. Tripod takes the shot, it misses, and here he comes. And yep, the T40's with him. And what happens next is comedy gold. Did you see that? Do you want to see that again in slow motion? Here it is again. Skoda T40 elbow charges the IS, barges him out of the way. Screw you, this is my kill. Bounces the shot, powers in front of the IS's gun. IS pulls the trigger, team kills the Skoda T40. And of course he's reloading, and Tripod Gaming gets his 5th kill. You, sir, are a winner! And that's it for today, folks. Hope you enjoyed it, and as always, take care and I'll catch you next time.